Welcome to Get on the Arc. I'm Darren Conrad, and I'm here with Natalie Nicole, the founder and creator of Dulce Life. Welcome, Natalie.
Absolute pleasure to be here with you today.
Yeah, we've gone to these conferences, this Reawaken America and the Clay Clark Business Conferences, and all kinds of health and freedom conferences. I think we met in Tulsa originally,
Yep, originally in
or
Tulsa.
maybe it was at Detroit,
Oh,
Detroit
uh,
or one of them. And
yeah, there's been so many.
Yeah, and you introduced me to this product, and wow, it's such a great product, Dulce. It's a sweetener, but it's also way more than that because it's all organic, healthy, and I'm going to let you share all about it. But tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got started with Dulce. 'Cause I also know you're a competitive uh, bodybuilder figure,
Hmm.
uh, and you've won several competitions, and so health and fitness is real important to you. So tell us about your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, I really got involved in the whole health freedom movement and, the patriotic movement when I was young, quite young actually, because I had a family member who was really ill. And what we discovered is the medical establishment really didn't have any options for my aunt. In fact, everything was about, a prescription drug or pill that may or may not help and had a horrible list of side effects and all these other things. And really, there was just no hope in any of the situation coming from the doctors. And my aunt was a woman of incredible faith, and she just decided, her creator didn't put her in this situation for her to just suffer or that there wasn't a way out. So, my journey with health started when I was trying to find answers for her. And I really honed in on food being medicine. So we really looked at our options in that arena, and we started using food for her healing. And we found some alternative therapies and stuff. So we really explored that vein. But in my discovery that the medical system was so flawed and they really didn't like people stepping outside of that paradigm, I saw the the cracks in the pavement when it came to like government overreach and losing our personal freedoms and stuff. So I jumped in the rabbit hole at a really early age, and it's just kind of manifested into where I currently am now. But I think overall, my journey has always included wanting to help people heal and focus on, you know, being in control of your own destiny. So yeah, that's how that all began for me. But like you said, my background is definitely in athletics. I've always been interested in bodybuilding and fitness. I have been involved in dance and gymnastics and ballet and tap and all of these things. But yeah, but bodybuilding really had a special place in my heart. And I started competing in 2016. And I ended up going pro in figure competitions in 2019. So I was involved in the IFBB, which is the International Federation of Bodybuilding. And I love the sport, but man, it's not the healthiest sport in the world. So I decided to kind of step out of that and really focus on bringing solutions to people. Hence why I created the Dulce sweetener, because really big problem in the world. Sugar is probably one of the most addictive agents out there. And I thought I could find a better way to do this. So that was kind of the inspiration for creating the Dulce.
Wow. So when you came up with Dulce, you looked at what else was out there to replace sugar, right? And so you
Yeah.
so walk us kind of through the journey of that, because you came up with an all natural plant-based product that's not only tastes great, but it's actually good for you.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the landscape, you really don't have too many great options because even the things that are supposed to be natural, and of course, I try to keep things as clean as possible what I'm consuming. The natural sweeteners that are on the market are typically blended with chemicals or sugar alcohols or other things that I just didn't find to be helpful. So, that or you use sugar, or, the number one sweetener in America right now is actually Splenda. And that's anything but natural, and it has its own set of problems that go along with it. So I was like, well, if you're going to start somewhere, start with everything that God had in the garden for you. So using plant extracts, like 100% organic plant-based extracts, and coming up with this formulation or recipe, and really nailing the taste. Because it's like there are a lot of sweeteners out there, but not very many of them taste very good. So when I was doing my batch testing in the kitchen and I finally landed on this flavor profile, I knew I had a home run because I ate an entire jar's worth, like a jar like this big, and I ate the entire thing in one day. So I was like, okay, I know I've got something here.
So,
But
so how did you come up with the name Dulce?
that was actually my husband. My husband came up with that name. He was looking at things that were sweet. So he was like, Dolce, Dulce, Dulce. He's like, hmm. He wanted it to be short enough that it wasn't, too hard of a name to remember or say. And it rolled off the tongue. And there's something about it, but it was in conjunction with Dulce or Dulce. So yeah, Dulce is the name of the sweetener that he came up with, and everybody loves it. Like there's not a single person, and I'm like, that's my husband. I give him 100% of that credit because everything else was me, but like, yeah, that was all him.
Wow, good job, Greg. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah,
Yeah, so I remember asking you, when you gave me the samples, and then I started getting on the monthly subscription, and I use it all the time. But I remember when I asked you prior to buying Dulce, I said, what's the one thing I can do right now, purchase or start implementing in my diet? And you're like, Cardio Miracle. So I
yeah,
actually have a routine every day. The first thing in the morning before bed, I mix Cardio Miracle and Dulce and Pro Immune.
yeah,
Uh, and anyway,
yeah.
it goes to your nature. You genuinely want to help people. You're not thinking of, you introduced me to a product that's not, that you have no affiliation with, but you know how good it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not my product, but I love the Cardio Miracle. When I got involved in going to the conferences like the Red Pill Expo, the Reawaken America tour, I met John Hewlett there, and I met Judy Mikovits there, Dr. Judy Mikovits, and so many other amazing health leaders. And I really took notice of what Cardio Miracle was, and I started incorporating it into my own life. But being in the sports world like I was, there's such a need for products like that. There are so many people taking all these different compounds, and normally they're loaded with stimulants and caffeine and all these other things that are causing damage to the body. And I was just like, everybody needs to know about Cardio Miracle. But now everything has grown and evolved in such a way that the loudest voices for things like Cardio Miracle are also saying, but you need to put Delsa in it because it literally triggers all of the other pathways. So Dr. Judy Mikovits is one of our biggest advocates, along with things like the Cardio Miracle and the ProImmune. And Joe with ProImmune, he's so passionate about these things because he can see they all work hand in hand. So yeah, it's pretty amazing that we're all out here supporting each other and just trying to bring really good things to people just to help them with their healing journey.
Well, talk about a little bit about the science and the health benefits of Dulce. Not only does it just taste great
Yeah.
and it's a great substitute for any sweetener, but tell us a little bit about the science and the health benefits of taking Dulce.
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, this is something completely different from just a sweetener. So, this is actually a functional food. So, when I was creating the Delsa, I wanted to look at several key markers for health and areas that needed more attention. So, I started off by putting prebiotics and also probiotics into the Delsa. So, the prebiotics that were selected are coming from the organic blue agave Indian and also the organic yacon root extract. So those right there are setting the stage to be a fuel source for your probiotics, for your gut microbes. So we're helping your body to actually create their own probiotics, but also addressing some of those inflammatory markers by giving the good fuel source of the prebiotics. So we have prebiotics in there, and then we also have probiotics, which are coming from a spore-based probiotic. So I use Bacillus coagulans in there. So it doesn't require refrigeration. It's also not going to get killed off by your stomach acids, and you can cook with it. So it actually gets into your gut. It actually gets to help. And Bacillus coagulans has some really great research behind it because it's really beneficial for people who are dealing with different gut issues, IBS, Crohn's, colitis, things of this nature. It's been showing a lot of promise for people who are dealing with inflammatory conditions like that. So that's why that one went in there. But then when you look at some of the other plants that we have in there or the extracts, we also use organic allulose and also organic yacon root extract. I'm sorry, or organic monk fruit. And those sweeteners have their own health properties to them. But what's really exciting about things like allulose is going to be beneficial for dealing with things like uric acid. So it actually helps to lower uric acid. But also too, it helps to regulate blood glucose and also insulin. So what's really cool about allulose is you'll see it actually lowers postprandial blood glucose spikes. So this is something that's really exciting for people who are trying to manage their blood. So um, the monk fruit is also going to be beneficial with things like antioxidants, but again, having no impact on your insulin or your blood glucose. So, safe for all my people who are on things like ketogenic diets, who are living low carb lifestyles, or people who are dealing with things like prediabetes or diabetes, and it's not going to impact them in a negative way. Um, I avoided all other things so there are no sugar alcohols in the Dulce. There's no stevia in there. There's nothing artificial in the product, actually. So no fillers, no binders, no excipients, anything like that. And then I know you love the flavor so much, but it's really funny because we put vanilla in there. We use Madagascar vanilla, but people are always trying to figure out like the taste. Like I know there's a little vanilla in there, but it kind of tastes like not mushroom, marshmallows, and it kind of reminds me of a sugar cookie. So it makes you like recount all these different things that it could be. But yeah, there's vanilla in there, and there's also some bamboo silica in there to help with things like bone health, tendons, ligaments, and also there's a full spectrum fulvic mineral in there. So we're addressing things like cellular hydration, detoxification, mitochondrial health support. So there's 9 ingredients in the Dulce, and none of them are chemicals. So it's a pretty unique product. So we've literally taken a sweetener, turned it into a functional food. It's all botanical extracts, and it's designed to actually impart good things into your health and not cause any negatives.
Wow. So you're kind of like being a little chemist, and you're putting all stuff together, and you create this amazing product, and now you need to have it produced. And I'm sure that was a journey in itself too, because now you have to find a manufacturer, right?
Yeah,
So, and
yeah,
I've heard the story, but I'd like to hear you share the story a little bit about how you found the right manufacturer and where they're at, and American made.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We want everything to be done here in the States. That was something that was really important to me. So we are American made. We have a partner in our operation, and what he has is he's got about 25 years experience in manufacturing, and he has some really, really good relationships with people. And manufacturing is definitely a hotbed, and you've got to be careful with who you partner up with. And he had some really close, good friends who were involved in the manufacturing space. So we ended up partnering with them. They're based in Utah, and they have a beautiful facility. It's, CGMP, it's organic certified. They have every kind of, certification that you would need and want for a clean food production. But it's like a family run company. So they saw our vision and they believed in what we were doing because we're bootstrapping this, okay? It's my husband, it's our partner, and we're literally putting this all together. We have no outside funding or anything like that. And when you go into manufacturing and blending and co-packing and distribution, you have to hit certain marks in order for people to even consider working with you. And being brand new, we didn't have that big output where a lot of manufacturers are looking for those big numbers. And these guys were willing to work with us and grow with us. And it was a blessing because a lot of people, there's a barrier of entry to get into these spaces, and they made it possible for us. So we're really grateful to them for that. But yeah, so it's been a journey. But again, there's a lot that goes into putting together a product. And just to get started, just to give you an idea, you know, there's a minimum on raw ingredients. So it's not like we're just grabbing a little bit of this and a little bit of that and just like, you know, doing this like we started off doing everything by hand. But when you get to manufacturing, you typically have to buy about 25 kilos of every single ingredient just to get in with an ingredient provider. So imagine the math on that. You know, we have 9 ingredients, and some of these things are quite expensive. So it's definitely hard to break into these things, but again, just feeling very blessed and very fortunate that we're able to get to where we are right now.
Wow. And with your first introduction into was Reawaken your first conference, or was there other conferences that you started with?
You know, there were other conferences. So, like I said, I've been awake for a very long time. But I mean, I used to go to like tea party events in Boston. Yeah, so I met G. Edward Griffin at one of them. It was amazing. But I've always been looking for stuff like this. Sometimes not always having access to be able to go to these things, but always tuning in online, very involved in different forums and stuff. So yeah, I've always been out and about in these kind of settings. Longtime follower of like Ron Paul. So yeah, I've always been into stuff like this. And but yeah, Reawaken was just it was an amazing time for everyone, you know, just to be able to congregate when the whole world was shutting down and for people to just be lifting each other up and showering each other with love. And it was just like, it was a really beautiful time in history. And I think we've gotten so much further along because of people, you know, making things like this possible for us. I mean, Clay Clark, you know, he really put it all out there to do this. And, you know, just the connections that have come from stuff like this, the friendships that have come from, you know, events like that. It's been amazing.
Yeah, and Clay Clark also does a 2-day business seminar. And I don't know if you've been to
Yeah.
those as well. How has that impacted your business?
It has been amazing for our business. You know, in going to Clay's events, the very first event that he had when he kicked off Reawaken event, he was doing a business seminar at the same time. And we didn't end up going to that first one, but we ended up going later on after going to several of the Reawaken events. And his conference for business has totally shifted the way I looked at doing business, to the point meaning that it gave me a really strong foundation. You know, it's really easy to get lost in the process, but when you have someone just laying out the roadmap for you and saying, okay, this is where you start, this is how you structure your days, this is how you keep on getting progress, this is how you keep on getting wins, and just reaffirming that for you over and over again and giving you a strong support base and resources that you can always tap back into. It's really been impactful for the way that Greg and I are running our business.
Wow, that's awesome.
And
Yes.
I mean, it's so good that I've gone to now several business conferences because again, there's a gem there every single time, but again, it keeps you in that mindset of progress, progress, progress. So I mean, I'll be going out to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the next conference here in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's not what you expect. It's not like a normal
Uh,
business conference.
no, I've never seen llamas at a business conference before.
Yeah, or helicopters, or
Yeah, I've taken a helicopter ride. Luckily, I didn't get spit on by a llama. I saw somebody else get spit on by llamas, but didn't get spit on by a llama. And I've met the most amazing human beings who truly want to support you in your business efforts. So yeah, it's great.
yeah, I tell people it's a life changing event. You know,
Yeah.
what it doesn't matter what you do, going to that event is amazing. So,
Yeah, I think anyone in business could actually benefit from going to that. I mean, I encourage people to go all the time.
you know, well, and the packaging, I love your packaging. Like the
Thanks.
marketing. Did Greg do the packaging too?
Greg did not do that packaging. No, he doesn't get that one. So I give him high fives all the time for the Dulsa, but no,
Yeah,
he didn't do the packaging.
it's packaged great. It looks awesome. Uh,
Yeah, I didn't want that same old, you know, earthy, or the pinks, the blues, the yellows. I didn't want the greens and all that. I wanted something that literally shook up your entire view of sweeteners. Like when you see the bag, it's like it's bright orange. It jumps out at you. It's clean, it's crisp, it's modern. But I wanted it to stand out from all the other sweeteners because again, it's not just a sweetener. It's a functional food. It's actually serving your health. So I wanted it to be loud and I wanted it to really catch your eye.
yeah, well, it does, and it is such a great product. Like I use a pack a month, but I have to if I skip a few days, it'll last a month.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I use it. I put it in my coffee. I put it in my cardio miracle, and it's fantastic. So
Yeah, it's funny because I have people like sometimes like they'll look at a pouch and like, okay, well, I don't know, I might use it, in my coffee or my tea. I'm like, oh, well, try sprinkling it on your berries, like try putting it in your yogurt, try putting in your oatmeal. Better yet, I mean, I just made some ice cream and I used the Dulsa, and oh my goodness, it was amazing. So yeah, there's a lot that you can do with it. Anything that you would sweeten up, literally, there's room for Dulsa in that.
do you bake with it at all?
Yeah, I do. I've made a cheesecake with the Dalsa, and I have made some organic chocolate pudding with the Dalsa. And what's really exciting is I have a 40-year executive chef who is currently writing a cookbook, and he is using Dalsa as the primary sweetener. And so he's doing entrees, condiments, desserts. He's doing spice blends. I mean, it's going to be pretty outrageous what he's doing. And then I just had somebody write to me the other day, and they made some apple pies, and she's getting ready to make a raspberry pie, and she used the Dulsa.
Oh, that's great.
So keep an eye out because there's going to be a dedicated blog space to recipes. I have some other people in like the carnivore space. Dr. Sean Baker, he's been at Clay's events, and we went out for dinner. And of course, here we are, we're all eating our steaks and stuff. And I break out a bag of Dulce and I'm like, here, try this. And he's like, well, I don't think I put it on my steak. He's like, but it tastes really good. So I do have people in the carnivore space though who like to make like almost like desserts or treats, just as like something to mix up the carnivore diet. And yeah, they're using the Dulce now as the sweetener because again, it's okay to do that.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't know that you did that with Sean. That's awesome.
Yeah, Sean's pretty cool. Definitely, I'm trying to get uh, Greg on board to actually go carnivore full time for a little bit, but I don't think he's quite ready for that yet.
Yeah, I'm about 85% there.
Yeah,
It's not 100%, but it is. The shift has been great.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but so dulsalife.com is your website.
yeah.
So people can go to dulsalife.com and they can, learn about the product. They can purchase the product. They can set up a monthly subscription to the product. And you're offering a coupon code to put ARC on. They get 15% off.
Yeah, it's just like for like one time or for like a single bag purchase, it won't work if somebody's doing like a subscription or anything, but for a purchase of a one or a couple bags or whatever, yeah, you can just use the ARC code and that'll give them a little discount just so that it makes it a little bit easier for people to try it. But yeah, we'd love your feedback. And, if you can play with it, do some recipes or something, please share. Like, I love sharing stuff like that. I think people really enjoy when other people are doing that so that they can get inspired and try it in other ways. But here's what's really, really exciting about it. It makes me so happy. I get a lot of people writing back to me telling me about their kids trying it, and kids love it. I got a message the other day, it made me laugh out loud. But somebody had found out that their son was going into the kitchen when nobody was looking, and he was eating it out of the bag. And so the only way that they found out, like I'm sure if a few more days had passed, they would have figured out something was going on because they were losing like a lot of Dulsa. But his son forgot to take the spoon out of the bag, so he got busted.
Wow, that's funny. How
So
how old was he?
11.
11. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so it's definitely kid tested and approved.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Natalie, thank you for your time and thank you for your message. And do you have any closing thoughts or words you'd like to tell people?
Yeah, again, like I'm in this to try to help people navigate through something that's causing harm to their health. And, we have so many amazing health warriors that are on board and trying to help advance this. And I hope that this fits into your life and that you can see this as an option to hopefully curb some of the effects of sugar. And if you're dealing with things like diabetes or pre-diabetes, please know, like, I'm not trying to tell you, you've got to get the sweets, you got to lose the enjoyment. Like, I want people to have options. I just want people to have healthy options. So please join us and let's break Big Sugar's hold and let's knock that big monster off of their pedestal.
Amen. Thank you again. Thank you for getting on the ark. Thank you for watching the ark. And God bless you all.
God bless. Take good care.